everyone, my name's Nadine. I'm the Public Programs Coordinator at Royal Botanical Gardens, and today I'm going to show you something super simple that we can do from home, which is to start microgreens. Now, microgreens contain both the seed leaf and the first set of true leaves of whatever you're growing, all of which are edible. So they pack a very delicious and nutritious punch. They can be pretty expensive to buy at the grocery store, but starting them from home, it's fast, it's cheap, and it's also very good for you. It's also fun too, which is awesome. And all that microgreens really need is enough light and moisture. So if you have a sunny window in your place, that's perfect. So we're going to try two different ways of growing microgreens. The first is the jar method, and the second is using an upcycled container. So for the jar method, all you need is a jar, you need an elastic band, and you need a piece of cheesecloth, a J-cloth. I don't have those, so I'm using a tea towel that my mom made. Hi, Mom! And this towel has enough holes in it to allow water and air to pass through, but not the seeds. So the things that I'm going to try today in the jar are these green lentils, and with our other method, using some upcycled containers, I'm going to try, where are you? Mustard seeds. I've got some garlic chives that I've already planted, some green peas, and I'm going to try black chia seeds too. All of these, or the lentils and the chia seeds, I already had in my cupboards. These other three are sprouting seeds that I purchased from an online retailer. So let's try it out. So my green lentils, of course, like I mentioned, they've already been soaking overnight in water. I'm going to add my cloth to the top, elastic band around it. It's really that simple. I'm going to drain the water out of these in right now, and then I'm going to rinse and drain the water every morning and in the evening. So twice a day until those seeds start to sprout. From seed to germination to growth to harvest, it really only takes about 14 days at the very most. So that time will definitely vary depending on what we're growing, but we'll check back in a few days and see how things are going. For the container method, I've been saving some of these upcycled containers. This one had strawberries in it, this one had tomatoes. I used them to start some of my seedlings in, but now I'm going to try and grow microgreens in them. So what you'll need is a container. Any container will do as long as your container has some holes in it for drainage. So these ones already had holes inside of it, but if maybe you're using a takeout container or a styrofoam tray, just make sure you add some holes so that any extra moisture can seep out of the container. We don't want our seeds to be waterlogged. When seeds have too much water, they're not getting enough air or oxygen, and oftentimes that can just create them to rot. So we don't want the seeds to be wet, we just want them to stay moist. So we've got our containers. You can add a piece of cheesecloth or wet paper towel inside of there just to stop the soil that we're going to add from coming out. And the next thing that I've added to these containers is a growing medium. So in this case, I'm using some seedling starting soil. This soil just has a little bit of extra stuff in it, vermiculite, to help hold on to moisture. So there's about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of seedling starting soil in my container. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is drain the water from those seeds. These are my mustard seeds. And just very gently sprinkle those seeds onto the top of the soil. There's about a tablespoon of seeds in here. So I'm going to move them around so they're not all sitting on top of one another. And I'm going to gently push them in to the surface of the soil. So you can see that. Now the next thing I'm going to do is add another very thin layer of soil onto the top of these. I've already done that with my garlic chives. So you can see the seeds of the garlic chives are black, but they're buried underneath just a little bit of that seedling starting soil. So the last thing that we need for the container method is a spray bottle. So I've got a bottle here that I'm using just to mist the top of the seeds. Like I said, we want to keep them moist, but we don't want them to be wet. So if you don't have a mister bottle, totally fine. Put the tap on very, very light, or use the hose on mist setting if you have access to one, just to keep our seeds moist but not wet. While the seeds are germinating, they don't need any light. but they will need about 4 hours of sunlight a day once they've sprouted. So you want to keep them in a sunny window. Maybe you have an east-facing window you can keep them in the morning. You can move them into a west-facing window in the afternoon. Same thing with the seeds that we started in the jar. Once they've sprouted, they will need sunlight in order to keep growing. So we'll check on these seeds in a few days, see how they're going, and good luck to you at home.